Welcome to Coding Literacy Flakes 25 of 40 JavaScript Part 5. Today we'll be looking at random number generator. Now the random number generator is the seed to just about every single game you play on the internet. So all languages have some sort of random number generator. You have no control of the random numbers, but you can manipulate it. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing we do is call up a text editor, and we say set up a basic HTML JavaScript web page. Let's get started. And there it is. As with all web pages, you need to indicate the browser using HTML version 5. Exclamation mark doc type HTML does that. HTML tag on and off indicate the start and stop a web page. Head tag on and off indicates behind the script coding that the users won't see. Script tag on and off means you'll be using a different set of language here, not HTML, but in this case it's JavaScript. Body tag on and body tag off means the users will see just about everything you type in here on the screen. Okay, as we're using a procedural approach to JavaScript, so I want to type in function. So let's start off with a function, and I shall call this function play with random. So there's a function. I'll call it play with random. I'll call it whatever I want, but all functions must have some sort of parenthesis opening and closing. And the brace open and close means whatever I type in here will be the sequence of codes that will be followed when I fire up the play with random function. Okay, let's put a trigger down here. So in the body section we'll put trigger to fire off that play with random function. Okay, there's a trigger. It's going to be a button type, and I want to display a button as opposed to say checkboxes or radio buttons. It's going to be an ordinary button. On the click on the user click, it's going to fire up the function called play with random. That's what I called up here. It's going to fire up to whatever is instruction there. The button is some sort of label, so I'm going to use the word label enter. It could be any label I want, and then I switch off the button tag. This part's HTML. Okay. Done that, and that's going to fire off this function. Okay, we're playing around with random numbers. So first of all, I'll need some sort of containers to put the random numbers into. They're called variables. I want to have a raw one. I'm calling this random raw, and I'm going to have a variable bound. So I'll call this one a bound container. We're going to put stuff in there. I'm going to have a variable called whole, and I'm going to have a variable called count for my loop later on. Okay. Now I don't have to actually put them in separate lines. I can actually put in one line with JavaScript. You do it by separating with a semicolon, and that saves line spaces. So if you put on one line, you separate the instructions with a semicolon in JavaScript, and that does the same thing. Okay. Now I want to play around with random numbers. So the first thing I'll do is let's enter a random number. In my raw container, my raw variable, I'm going to add a random seed. Now this is a random number generator in JavaScript. A generator is, you've got no control over it, but math uppercase M dot random lowercase r, it must be written the way it is with parentheses, is a random number generator. You have no control of it. Let's see what it does. Okay, to display it, I need to type in some sort of display. So I'm going to do document right, which is a JavaScript syntax, and in here I'll type in the word raw. Now raw is the variable. That's all I'm going to do, and let's run it. The file, save as, of course one JavaScript 5. It's going to be a HTML. Okay, save it, and now I shall run it. Run it with Google Chrome. And this is what it look like. Enter, that's what I got. And there's my random number. It's 0.105. If I run it again, it's 0.3. It's changed. Okay, run it again, and I don't know what's going to happen. That's my seed. It's an ordinary seed. But you know, when you're playing games or cards or dice, you want to be bound. In dice, you want to be bound between 1 and 6. In cards, you're 1 to 52. All sorts of games need to have numbers bigger and more controlled than 0 to 1. But this is a seed, and this is how you manipulate it. Okay, first of all, let's manipulate the first one. So over here, I'm going to manipulate the random number by using the word bound. I'm putting it in a variable called bound, and I type in the random number or random number generator. And if I want a number between, say, 0 and 100 instead of 0 and 1, I'll just times it. Star means times. So in the world of computing, an asterisk or star means times. Okay, so just in case you didn't know. So what I'll do here is I'm going to print out the bound variable instead of the raw variable, and let's see what that does. So we save that now and go to my generator, enter. There it goes. Now we choose numbers between 0 to 100. First, run it again. It's 33. Okay, let's do this several times rather than just one print. Let's compare it with lots of prints. So what I'm going to do now is put this stuff inside a loop. So it makes it easier for us. So let's create a loop. We did this in the last session, and I'm going to do a for loop. For loop. I've got a variable called count. I can call it whatever I want, but I'll call it count. We'll start at 0. So the loop will start at 0. My first piece of instruction. The loop will continue. Say, let's just do five rounds. Okay, as long as it's less than 5 rounds, we're fine. And each time it does a round or loop, the iteration is going to increment by 1. Okay, that's my start of my loop. The brace means start the loop and finish the loop here. That's the function finish. I'll just need a loop finish there, and I shall indent those. There you go. Okay. So what does it do? Let's have a look. Save, and we shall run it. And it's given me 5 lots of numbers, but I cannot see it. So I need to add some sort of break in there. So what I'm going to do is put in front a string, right? String with quotations, and I'll put some HTML code break. But when you're playing around with strings and tags, you need to concatenate. Strings and variables you need to concatenate, and the plus sign does that. So that means string, print, in this case run the HTML tag, then go to the variable and find out what it is. So it should split up the lines. I'll also save this now and run it. Do the same thing, but we've got separate lines. There we go. Now we're choosing numbers between 0 and 100, so it's 28, 78, etc. So it's working nicely. But say if I want to go to, say, 20, right? I want to go to 20. I'll change that to 20, and all the random numbers should lie between 0 and 20. Let's run it again, and there it is. 7, 7. Let's put a 0 there. Okay, let's run it again. Okay, so 13 and 17 and 8. Okay, so that's working nicely as well. Right, let's move on. Okay, now sometimes you don't want decimal numbers, you just want whole numbers. So to do that, I'll just call this variable whole. So what do we do there? You add another function. There's another JavaScript function, math round, right? Math round. Then I add my seed in there, math random is my seed, and so I want to bound it to 6, right? So times 6. So this middle part bounds it to 0 to 6 instead of 0 to 1, and this picks up the whole numbers. And if I was to save that and type in the variable whole instead, okay, this is what I get. Let's have a look. Save that over here. Now enter. These numbers lie between with 0 to 6. Okay, so it's happening there. 0 to 6 is happening. Okay, so it's working nicely, and that's how you get your whole numbers, right? So let's just tidy this up a bit. Okay, tidy it up a bit. Let's just improve the screen display. So H3 will be a header 3. Could be any header I want. Could be header 1, header 2, but I'm choosing header 3. See the random number generator at work. Okay, and I'm going to close that header 3 off so it doesn't spill across the rest of the web page. Done nothing much there apart from the first screen, the landing screen, to see the random generator at work. You hit enter. Okay, now I need to put all those variables in there so we can see what happens. Okay, so let's just play around with this for a little while. Okay, so here I got all my variables in the document, right? Raw, bound, and whole. But it's going to look quite messy. Let's just save this. It's saved, and let's refresh this. See what happens. Okay, it's all mixed together. Okay, you really can't tell. So I need to break it up a bit. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to break up this one here. Let's put a break in there. Okay, and concatenate it. And I'll put a line break in there. Right. Oops. And this bit of string, and maybe one in here too. Right. A string. Oops, what am I doing? Yeah. There's no end point there. Concatenate it. And that's not right either. So put it in there. It should break it a bit and see what happens now. If I was to save this and go over to my output, it's starting to look a bit better. Okay. A few more labels will make it perfect. Okay, let's put a few labels in here to help the user understand what's going on. Okay, here I'm going to put in random, random on its own from 0 to 1 equals. Okay, let's just save this and see what it looks like. Random on its own from there, it's looking better. I need some space between the equal signs so I can fix that easily. Make sure there's space before and after the equal sign inside the string. And if I was to run this now, I should tidy up a little bit. There it is, it's tidied up. Okay. Now we need to put labels on the others so the user knows what we're doing here. Okay, let's just do that right now. Okay, put some labels here. Random number on its own from 0 to 1 space equals space. And there's my raw variable. That's this one here, nothing done to the random number, as is. New line, I'll put the random number from 0 to 20, space equals space afterwards, so you don't run into each other. Bounds, looks at the bound variable. The bound is a random number, but it's bounding it to 20, so 0 to 20. Okay. Actually, I don't need that 0 there. Just get rid of that. Okay, next one, it's got a whole random number from 0 to 6. This one here is going to math it round, it's going to round it up or down depending on where it lies in the decimal point or decimal place. And let's have a look at that. Save that. You go over here, let's run it, and it's starting to look tidier. There you go. Random number from 0 to 1. Okay, that's working well. Spaces in between the equal sign. That's fantastic. But I need one more label at the end. I need a paragraph break. So plus. In between here, I'll put in a paragraph break, and let's just use the HTML tag inside a string. Go across, save it, refresh it, run it again, and it breaks up. That's looking good. But I want to see how many times I've done it. So what I might do is one more thing. I might put in front of here in the beginning. I might put the count concatenate. Oh, sorry, not there. Wrong place. That's inside the string. So it'll be outside the string. Count. Concatenate the string. So variable concatenate the string. Count is actually uppercase. And actually that won't work because it's lowercase. Just show you, because JavaScript is case sensitive and it won't work. Okay, let's make this uppercase C to match with what I declared up here, and this should do it actually. Saved, refresh, and there it is. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is count plus the start point is 0. And it's working the way I like it. Okay, that's random numbers, showing you the random number on its own. This one's been bounded to 20. This one's got whole numbers 1, 2, 1, 0, 3. I'll run it again. It'll be a totally new set of numbers. 6, 0, 3, 1, 2 for the whole numbers. There's numbers 6 point whatever, or 3 point whatever, 13 point whatever, 17 point whatever, 11. That's the one that's being bound to 20. And there's a raw state. Okay, thank you for watching.